Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, Council President Vincenti and distinguished members of the County Council and everybody else in attendance or watching this evening. I want to first thank the council members for confirming my director, Rob McCord, and my cabinet members who are here this evening joining us in the audience. And I also look forward to your review and confirmation of my most recent appointments. Mr. Greg Green. Greg, you here somewhere? Greg Green, stand up, Greg. He's putting Greg in as our Deputy Director of Information Communications and Technology. And also, thanks, Greg. And also Mr. Mike Bernicke. Mike, you're here somewhere? Mike's as new Deputy Director for Emergency Services. Thank you. It's my distinct honor to stand here before you all this evening as your county executive. I grew up here. My family's been here for many generations. And every day I have the privilege of looking out the window of my county executive office out onto the field at Bel Air High School where I played sports quite a long time ago. And I just feel so blessed and honored by the opportunity to lead this great county. We can all be proud and confident in this county. It's blessed with a diverse and talented population. It's a strong public safety team, great schools, key location, and abundance of natural resources that make this such a wonderful place to call home. Harford's grown, but we still retain a respectable dose of the small town charm of a tight-knit community where neighbors care for each other. It's important that we persist in our efforts to both keep pace with the rapidly changing world, but also protecting what we cherish most about our way of life. Proverbs tells us that integrity of the upright guides them. Integrity is the guiding principle of my administration. Outside my office door is a quote from Mark Twain that says, "Always do right. This will gratify some people and astonish the rest." Doing the right thing doesn't always make me popular, doesn't always make everybody happy, but that's my job, and I'm going to continue to follow the letter of the Constitution, the Charter, laws, and the codes to the best of my ability. With your help, Rob McCord and I have been able to assemble a really great team of leaders over here to consistently deliver excellence in government and integrity. The team's been in place for just 2 months now, and I'm very pleased to report to all of you council members that we work very well together to analyze effectively and address the very many challenges and opportunities that our county has. I'd like to just, if you wouldn't mind giving them a hand for the work that they're doing. To facilitate cooperative leadership team, we expanded a county executive conference room to allow adequate room and space for all of my directors and all my deputy directors and other senior staff and visitors to appear and openly discuss in person our challenges and ideas. Oliver Wendell Holmes Sr. said that many ideas grow better when transplanted into another mind than the one where they sprang up. We now have a space to foster such a collaborative effort, and I'm proud that Mr. Holmes' quote hangs on the wall in that conference room. Well, I've been putting a lot of time and effort into building a leadership team. My administration's also been working hard to build an extended network of personal relationships that will be key to our long-term success. In my first week as county executive, I had the pleasure of visiting with most of our county employees to see where they work, what their conditions are, and I'm really proud of our workforce and the work they do for our citizens. From our talented computer and technology staff to our water and sewer workers out in the field, each of our dedicated employees contributes to the quality of life that we come to enjoy. I have also made it a priority to open doors between my administration and this council. We were happy to arrange for your visits in January to our primary county facilities, and my cabinet members have made a great effort to be open to your questions and responsive to the council questions. Moving forward, I will continue to be available to meet with you. We represent different branches of local government, but we all share the same goals. My administration has also been reaching out to our federal, state, and local partners because I know, and you know, that we work best when we work together. In January, I welcomed Senator Chris Van Hollen to our county, and in the coming months, I'll be meeting with more of our federal delegation in Washington. Governor Moore and I have had several discussions, and I spoke with him just yesterday at our mutual visit to Aberdeen Proving Ground. I'm working to build relationships with his new cabinet and I've connected with my fellow county executives from around the state. Closer to home, I've enjoyed meeting with Major General Edmondson and his staff. He's the senior commander at Aberdeen Proving Ground. Our State's Attorney Healy, Sheriff Gaylor and his staff, our judges, our CEO Elizabeth Wise of Upper Chesapeake Medical Center, who's sort of incognito back there in the back row. Welcome. Dr. Teresa Felder of Harford Community College, our public school superintendent Sean Bolson, and members of the Board of Education, municipal leaders, and more. And my message to all these folks is, let's work together for the good of the citizens that we all serve. My number one job as county executive is keeping our county safe. The safety of our public is paramount, and I intend to make sure that our public safety teams have what they need to keep Harford County safe at most reasonable cost. I'll be a strong and reliable partner with Sheriff Gaylor and the 3 municipal police chiefs, our Maryland State Police, our fire and EMS, our volunteer fire companies. Within hours of taking my oath of office, I convened my entire cabinet up at the Department of Emergency Services Command Center for disaster preparedness response exercise. And we literally worked until the end of the day and my first day to improve public safety. One of my first executive actions I took was to establish the Emergency Services Advisory Board, and that was created to help me address immediate, serious challenges that we face in providing the level of emergency response that our citizens expect and deserve. To be quite blunt, our 911 response times are not where they should be. The advisory board provides me with advice on necessary changes to address the shortages in EMS volunteers, increased demands for services, and the rising costs that are the drivers of my concerns. I've directed our emergency services leaders and the rest of my staff to make resolution of these challenges our top priority. We are actively recruiting more 911 operators and have added 2 new deputy directors to the department. I also ordered the county staffed EMS medic unit that were previously assigned to specific stations to float to stations as needed, not as a political decision, but as determined by the Director of Emergency Services. It was one of those very units that had been moved by the director to the Joppa Magnolia Fire Company that responded to Ice World for an incident in December 20th involving a young woman who had gone into cardiac arrest. I want to personally thank Harford County Senior Deputy Jeremy Mothershed and our paramedics Andrew Dixon and Justin Wolf, who responded and played key roles in saving that young woman's life. And I want to also give credit to the fast-acting staff and visitors at Ice World who successfully deployed the AD. And this device was essential to saving the young woman's life. And we're increasing those units in parks and rec facilities and businesses throughout the county. I want to publicly acknowledge and thank our Director of Emergency Services, Rick Ayers. Rick, you just raise your hand or stand up. Thank you, right back there. For his exceptional service over the recent months. During the COVID, the surge that we have undergone in COVID, flu, and RSV, we ended up with ambulances stockpiled at emergency rooms to try to process the people through. And that's the wait times were pretty damaging. Rick was able to work with Upper Chesapeake Medical Center and the various healthcare providers throughout the county to rearrange how they did operations, and we're back to normal. And I think that's awesome, Rick. Thank you for doing that. I want to also thank Sheriff Gaylor and his deputies and our municipal police officers for the difficult and dangerous work that they do every day in our county to keep us all safe. Harford County is very fortunate to have avoided the political antics that have undermined effective law enforcement in so many other communities. Thank you, gentlemen, over there. And ladies. And ladies. Okay. Education is an area of special interest for all of us. My family and I attend Harford County Public Schools. Some of my extended family members are teachers. My grandchildren attend our public schools. One of them's here to visit with me this evening. My goal is to ensure that every generation graduates with a high-quality education. And towards that end, I'm very pleased to have sent to this council this past week the names of 3 highly qualified candidates to fill vacancies on the school board who are all passionate about public education and who also know how to effectively manage large budgets. I look forward to their consideration and confirmation by the council. Given that our public schools receive about half of the general revenue taxes that we collect, it's really vital that our Board of Education include members who are both passionate about high-quality education and equally skilled in fiscal management. I'm trying to manage spending, but it's really not possible for me to do that given that I only control half of the budget in this county. And I need skilled fiscal managers and partners on the Board of Education to help us work through that. Over the past 5 years, while student enrollment has been fairly flat, our county funding for the schools has increased about 36%. And a large number of folks in the board are now making, and administrative staff are making over $170,000 annually. That's not what these folks are making sitting over here. As a county executive, I don't have any control over the salaries of the board administrators. So it's critical that we have folks on the board who understand and who can be good stewards of the taxpayers' fund and make sure that funding goes to our teachers and students as our funding priority. As students graduate, they must have career choices that include both college and the skilled trades. I hear all the time from business leaders about their needs for skilled workers, for rewarding careers in the trades, and we also need them in the county government. To help grow our workforce and bring opportunities to high school and community college students, my administration will be launching an apprentice program within the county government that we hope will become a model for the state. Working with Harford County Public Schools and the community college, we'll offer jobs to students in our emergency operations center, our fleet maintenance facility, water treatment plant, and other county facilities to give students hand-on experience and a head start in their potential careers. Though not quite as exciting as public safety and education, transportation is one of the areas that impacts each one of us every day. Harford faces particular challenges in the fact that our road network is largely served by state highways that we don't control. Of the 234 traffic lights that you see on our roads many times a day, I think they're all in my commute, 93% are owned and managed by State Highway Administration. As a state senator, I worked hard to bring a multi-million-dollar dynamic traffic signaling system to Route 24 from Bel Air to 95, but we still have a lot of work to do. As we're all too well aware, the time we spend sitting in traffic is time lost in opportunities to be with the people that we love. In January, my senior staff and I met with our State Highway District engineer, and we established a quarterly meeting between my administration and State Highway leadership to better coordinate capital projects. Today was the very first such meeting. We're also creating a traffic division within our Department of Public Works to coordinate with State Highway Administration to help better manage traffic flows within the county. Just as our transportation challenges require careful attention, we have to also attend to our economic prosperity. That's why, with your help, council members, we separated the county's Department of Economic Development from the Department of Housing and Community Development to ensure that economic development receives the careful attention that it needs. We're in the process of developing and standing up an economic development strategic plan that we're going to focus on 5 key priorities. First, we're going to enhance our relationship with the defense community, including Aberdeen Proving Ground and the associated defense contractors, with the goal of developing well-paying jobs in Harford County. APG is our #1 employer, by the way. We have hired the former deputy to the senior commander at APG to lead that effort, and he'll be assisted by our most senior economic development staff person. Second, we're standing up a business navigator who'll be responsible for assisting new and expanding businesses to navigate through the state and county bureaucracies as they try to expand and stand up businesses. Third, we'll be working through our Agricultural Advisory Board to expand opportunities for our farmers, including the development of a local meat processing facility. Fourth, we're exploring opportunities to expand local tourism, especially in areas of sports, agriculture, arts, and entertainment. And finally, we're expanding efforts to attract quality manufacturers and other businesses that can offer well-paying jobs. I've also created a Southern County Task Force that's currently made up of members of my cabinet whose charge is to fully analyze and comprehensively address the important opportunities and challenges that are unique to the Route 40 community. The task force members are now engaged in gathering information. Once the task force is in operation, it will be expanded to merge with the County Council President's own Route 40 revitalization efforts, and it will include members of the public as well as outside other government entities. This effort will be completely transparent to you, and we look forward to the members of the council, your suggestion and your ideas. I hear often from members of the public and from the council about the need to preserve our beautiful open spaces and our farms. Please be assured that we're working hard to protect and preserve our natural beauties and our heritage. With your approval, council, we're moving forward with efforts to add another 12 farms totaling 2,000 acres to our county's agricultural preservation program. Thank you. And I've approved another 1,000 acres of farmland that we hope will be included in the Maryland State Preservation Program. We're working with Harford Land Trust to support their effort to preserve key properties throughout the county, including our most recent joint effort that culminated in the county's purchase of 30 acres of environmentally sensitive woodlands in Perryman for permanent protection. Later this year, we'll begin construction of the final segment of the much-beloved Ma and Paul Trail, which, when complete, will provide an 8-mile walking and biking trail between Fawcett and Forest Hill by way of Bel Air. We've initiated development of a master plan for the 1,430 acres that we now own along the Chesapeake Bay between Havre de Grace and Aberdeen on the peninsula. And we're working with the state now to initiate completion of a 5-mile-long biking trail that we hope will run along the banks of the Susquehanna, the Greenway, along the Susquehanna River from the Conowingo Dam down to the Lapidum Landing. A special word about our veterans. As a war veteran, I understand and appreciate the importance of our veteran communities and the many benefits they offer to our county. I'm especially excited by our governor's bill to accept $40,000 in veterans' retirement benefits from taxation. More power to him on that one. For those who have given so much to their nation, we must do better. Just a few weeks ago, I, along with a number of the members of this council, were honored to participate in a dedication of the Route 155 bridge over Interstate 95 in honor of Specialist Ronnie Sputus, who's a Harford County native and Silver Star recipient who gave his life protecting his fellow soldiers in the Republic of Vietnam. Harford County will continue to work with our veteran community and to elevate their status in my administration and in our community. So much for the fun stuff. Now we'll get down to the meat of this. My primary effort at this time is preparing the county's annual budget. That effort is unfortunately marked with considerable challenges and uncertainty in the financial outlook at our national level, our state level, and through our county's own structural deficit. Our local economy will remain strong for now, but many economists predict a recession in 2023. And whether or not we have a recession, inflation is already here. It's having a significant impact on our bottom line and our ability to meet costs. Rising costs mean we can't simply hold the line on spending, as everything we do now costs more money. Transporting kids to school, providing employee health benefits, heating and cooling these buildings, buying and fueling up ambulances, and recruiting and retaining highly qualified employees, from our accountants to our law enforcement officers. It all costs considerably more now. Property values are up, yes, that's great, so we have a larger assessable property base. However, substantially rising interest rates are now taking a significant toll on real estate transactions. So we're seeing significant drop in our recordation and transfer taxes. We also don't know what additional expense mandates we're going to receive from Annapolis, which has, for the past several years, pushed significant cost onto county government, most notably implementing the Kerwin Commission's so-called blueprint for Maryland's future, and a number of law enforcement-related expenses like body cameras, police oversight boards, police evaluations, and more. Governor Moore's made some promising statements about not pushing more mandates onto the counties, but we can't say for sure whether he'll be able to hold the line on that. We are also challenged by the fact that over the past 2 years, Harford County enacted a very aggressive budget that resulted in spending well beyond our means. At a time when our accounts were flushed with federal COVID relief money and strong revenues, we spent almost $60 million of our savings for ongoing expenses, creating an ongoing structural deficit. Over the past 2 years, the county also strayed from its long-standing practice of keeping the annual borrowing authorization limit at about $50 million. For the current year, that number ballooned to more than $130 million. This escalation is unsustainable, folks, and is going to crowd out our future budgets, leaving less money for teachers and deputies and essential services. We can't continue to leverage our children's future. My budget reflects an uncomfortable return to responsible fiscal management. We'll try to work with everyone to minimize strains, but structural deficits and excessive long-term debts are just unacceptable. And that's why I'm setting aside the lion's share of my time over the next several months to dive into the budget line by line. We also need to consider options to increase revenue in the county without raising taxes. I'm going to ask you all to help me look at, should we increase our tipping fee? That's the cost of that haulers pay us to take their garbage. Our costs of processing trash have increased greatly over the years, but the fees that we charge haulers have not been increased. And as a result, we're funding garbage removal from the general fund at a substantial rate. Should we look at paying an increase in the 911 fee? It's currently at 75 cents to $1.50 to offset the cost of adding additional 911 operators that I spoke about earlier. These are among the questions we face in preparing a responsible county budget. In conclusion, I spent 3 years of my life helping the people in Iraq establish provincial governments from the ground up. So I have a unique perspective on the opportunities and challenges of county-level government. Folks, we're blessed with so much in our nation and our county that we too often take for granted. While we have challenges, our blessings are so far greater. So let us thank God for those blessings and pray that He'll grant us the wisdom and the guidance to meet our challenges as we all work together to make this county better than ever. Thank you, and may God bless Harford County.